is a video response to the video The Cult of Desteni Giveaway Signs Part 1 by Ordo Templi Aurora. Robert claims within his video that Destini's definition of a cult is a, quote, vague, generalized metaphor for cultural practices, customs, or traditions, end of quote. Yet Robert claims that his definition or perception of the word cult is clear and truthful, and he is even backing this up with experts in the field and the general public's opinion. Well, if we have a look at these so-called experts that Robert is referring to, these experts consist of persons who are or traumatized by their former cult experiences and are driven to save other people, or they are persons who are pre-programmed to, no matter what, want to prohibit any change in our world and will go as far as bullying or abuse to see to this point of non-change. Then Robert mentions the general public as a stable factor as how a cult has to be seen and defined by. Well, the general public is the brainwashed group of sheeple that get their so-called own perspectives from non-investigation and is absorbing mainstream media propaganda to incorporate as their own values and morals. So these are Robert's starting points for making this video series. He's looking through his cultural glasses at the materials and information that Desteni has been providing since 2006. When he says that he has investigated the Desteni materials in order to give clear perspectives on the materials, Robert shows its true face of deception and ability to twist and bend information provided for the benefit of all, to such an extent that it fits his agenda of stopping any change in this world. It seems as if Robert reversed all information that he took from the Desteni website in an attempt to mislead others on the internet. He probably isn't aware of what is going on in his world and isn't seeing how all things actually are in reverse. So what does Robert thinks Desteni stands for? So now I'm going to give a selection from his Chimera. Well, let's get it done. He thinks that in order to practice the principle of oneness and equality, one must give up one's directive principle. Well, Desteni explains in many ways that in order to be self-responsible, one should direct self and practice what's best for all, which is actually also best for self. Then he thinks that Destonians blog and vlog to express their relationship towards their leader. Well, Desteni explains in many ways that blogging and vlogging is done to show self and others where there still exists dishonesty in oneself, and to share this openly so that others can benefit from it. If Robert had read all the hundreds of blogs and vlogs Destonians produce each day, he had seen for himself that all life topics are used in these blogs and vlogs, and not about leadership as he pictures it. He thinks that a visit to the farm means doing free labor in order to live in the physical. Well, Desteni explains in many ways that living in the physical means living here, in the moment, and not being stuck in one's past or projecting one's life into the future. The farm can be visited, and one can decide in the moment if one will participate within the physical labor. Though the group that really lives on the farm has, of course, to keep the farm running. And that means doing the things that need to be done through real physical labor, such as cooking, cleaning, taking care of the animals and plants on a daily basis. I wonder if Robert gets paid when he does his own laundry or cleans his shit when scrubbing his toilet bowl. He thinks that Bernard Poolman is the personal alarm clock for Destonians. While Destiny explains in many ways that a human can function effective with 4 to 6 hours of sleep. If Robert would try this out for himself for 21 days, he's welcome to share his genuine experiences, and we'll see that in this way each day has a lot of hours left to be effective in bringing change to the world. He thinks that the Estonians must shave their head and are not allowed to use cosmetics or toiletware. Well, Destiny explains in many ways that shaving one's head is a personal choice and a commonsensical outflow when one makes the equality equation and looks into what's best for all. And that's the same for stopping the pollution in the world. He thinks that stopping the mind is done through the 4-count breath. Destiny explains in many ways that the breath is life. It's quite simple. If one stops breathing, one is dead. So, breath is a tool of life, and it will slow down oneself, reduce anxiety, fear, or pain, to once again see things within a commonsensical perspective. He thinks that the Estonians are encouraged to feel guilty and doubtful about sex and masturbation, and that by mapping out one's sexuality equals to giving away one's power. Destiny explains in many ways that by mapping out thoughts or feelings or emotions on any topic, one can clearly see in self-honesty where one has triggered into a point of dishonesty and lack of self-responsibility. Therefore, it takes really guts to see for oneself where one was acting against what's best for all, and to actually correct this in the physical and walk one's talk. He thinks that when one participates in a group that stands for oneness and equality, one is losing one's identity. Well, Destiny explains in many ways that identity is part of the ego, and the ego isn't willing to give up the pre-programming and not at all willing to bring any change whatsoever. So the fear to lose oneself within a group that stands for oneness and equality is the fear of loss, and can be solved by doing some self-forgiveness and self-corrective statements. He thinks that Destiny is constantly spreading propaganda. Well, Destiny is spreading awareness, and all that react to the spreading of this information are systems that believe that they cannot change and that the world never will change, without questioning why they have these pre-programmed perspectives. He thinks that Destonians see society as a matrix controlled by organic robots, while Destiny sees the world as a system wherein pre-programmed beings are referred to as organic robots. It's clear that Robert is reacting to words like matrix and organic robots, which shows his true nature of wanting to be more than a small cog in the whole, wanting to be more special than others in a world that's totally okay for someone that promotes and participates within abuse. He thinks that the Estonians perceive life in terms of us and them, while in fact it's Robert who chooses to see himself against or outside of equality and oneness, and therefore participates within this polarity and puts himself in a us and them game. So he is doing it all to himself. Nobody is denying him access to equality. It's only him. It's clear that when Robert says that, quote, Destiny exhibits all the giveaway signs of being a potentially destructive cult, end of quote, that in fact he isn't saying anything more than a vague assumption based in beliefs, ideas, and opinions that are formed through misinterpretations of what Destiny stands for. So Robert is saying nothing and is only contradicting himself in an attempt to be a wannabe YouTube celebrity who is spreading abuse.